The speakers are going to be speaking in an uninterrupted fashion of 10 minutes, 10 minutes, 10 minutes. And we are going to have like a larger open panel and Q&A at the end, right? That's the format.
Okay, so for the past 18 years, I have been volunteering with different organizations across India, and roughly I had engaged with around 1 lakh plus volunteers, and out of which 90% of them were Gen Z volunteers. So while working with Gen Z volunteers, what I identified with them was they have the capacity, creativity, and potential to bring changes in the community. So that's why I started to invest in them and support them through my organization called Captain Social Foundation. So we are a youth-led non-profit organization, and our aim is to create a network of volunteers who can be the change and change makers in the community. So what we do is we are creating an ecosystem for volunteers to put their ideas into action. So if they have any dream, if they have any idea to do any initiatives or address any social issues in the community, they will identify that, they will come to us, and we provide them with mentorships, training, resource, tools, and everything that they need to put their ideas into action. Okay, so for the past 1 year, 1.5 years, we had engaged with around 15,000 volunteers, out of which 50% of them were first-time volunteers, and they had out of which some of them came as leaders, and they had initiated around 250 plus initiatives, and most of them were, 99% of them were one-time activities. And we had engaged with around 1.5 lakh volunteering hours we had engaged. So one of the most interesting activity that we do with youth is school renovation program. It's just like the normal volunteering activity, school painting activity that we do. But what we did was we redesigned that activity based on the trends of volunteers to attract more Gen Z volunteers. So Gen Z volunteers in Kerala, they mainly, at that time when we started the initiative, they were mainly focused on, so they were into camps, story circles, they go for trekkings and all. So we integrated all these things to the school renovation program. So we designed this as a camp. It was a 3-day camp for volunteers. Not for the volunteers, you can see the local people were there, the students were there, the forest officers, the local government, they all come together for the program. For this program, all the resources were given by the local government. So the school, the nearby school, okay. So the nearby school will arrange accommodation facilities for them, and the local community people, the local clubs will come together, they will arrange foods, and the volunteers join them to create foods. They together make foods, they have story circle, they share stories about the place over there. And most of the camps happened in tribal schools, backward schools, bud schools and all. And the first day we will have a meeting with all the community people. They will share their stories, they interact with the people. And the second day we do the painting parts we will do. And the third day they go for trekking with the community people. It's also like a rural immersion program. So this is one of the main activity we did. And we had beautified around 15 schools and engaged 1,000 plus volunteers in these initiatives. So what the thing that we done to attract more volunteers, just a normal activity, but we redesigned it based on the trends and attract more volunteers to the activity. So this was one of the activity that we did. I think that's it for my slides. We will open for questions.
Yeah, I mean, with Afsal's presentation, I was invited to, because he had very limited slides. He wanted to make it engaging, so he asked me to ask a couple of questions. So one of the aspect of Captain Social Foundation is not most, but in fact 95% of their target audience is students, right, Afsal? Yeah. So one aspect which I wanted to figure out is, how are you taking this into a long-term volunteering? All your opportunities are student-based. What are certain elements with Gen Z that ensures that you take it long-term?
So mostly we focus on short-term activities. So from these activities, we get volunteers who are passionate. So when they engage with us for 3 days, so they come up with ideas. So we pick those volunteers, we train them, and if they have some ideas, we will get them for a long-term. That's what we do. And they will go to schools, they will go to their colleges, they create a community of volunteers in their college, then they together go with that activity.
Can you give me like certain examples of projects done by Captain Social Foundation where you involve huge masses of Gen Z involved? Yeah.
So one of the activity we did was with the Sujita Mission Kerala for like 1 week ago. So in Kerala, the waste man is one of the issues that we face in urban areas. So what we do is we collaborate with the Sujita Mission Kerala, Haridha Sena. These are the members of the local community people who go to houses to collect waste. So in every district, we organize this campaign. Around 100 volunteers in every district and 25 Haridha Sena people come together. They jointly go to houses. So these volunteers identified issues. What are the issues in collecting waste? How this can be made more practical, sustainability. They identified that. So one day they entirely engaged with this Haridha people and the household people. So they get this insights. And we then create a report and give it to the government. So that's one of the activity we mainly engage with them. So we organize hackathons. It's a 24-hour hackathon. So if any volunteer, if they have some basic idea, if they identify some issues in their community, if they have some basic idea of the issue they want to solve, they can come to us. So through a 5-stage process, we will make them understand what is the issues in their community, what is the root cause, what is the solutions, what are the steps they need to take, how much financial could be needed. So it's a 5-stage process through which after this hackathon, they can start their own projects or initiatives of their own. So that's the 24-hour hackathon. We also had a 3-day camp, same activity only, but it will be, we organize this in a camp, like in a tribal area or village or something. So explore the nature, they have a talk with the community. It's also like kind of a rural immersion program that we do.
Thank you, Afsal. Awesome. So time is also up. Just a couple of pointers about him. So Afsal and Captains are also one of the organizations who have been involved with the Good Deeds Day for the last seven years, right?
Yeah, we have been engaged with Good Deeds Day for the past 7 years. So we started with around 10 volunteers in the first year. It raised to 100, 500, 2,000. And last year for the Good Deeds Day, we engaged around 5,000 plus volunteers. And this year we plan to engage 10,000 plus volunteers.
Yeah. And just to add on, their work is not just around volunteering, give back. It's about celebration of volunteering. So most of their event, if you see, their pages also, if you see, it will be very colorful. There will be a lot of celebration. That is also one of the interesting aspect which we are also learning from them is how celebration of volunteering actually brings back recurring volunteers. That's something.
So one of our major priority is to give volunteers the experience, a good experience, which will attract more them back to our community. So out of the volunteers, we don't do volunteer outreach and all. Out of the 10,000 plus volunteers, around 75% of them came through reference from other volunteers who have participated in an activity. So we keep it more engaging, like fun, music, dance, and also the cause we work for.
Okay, up next we are going to go for the second speaker, Ranganath here. He's the founder and CEO of Fueladream. Yes, over to you.
So quick question before I start. How many of you all are with NGOs? If you could just raise your hands. And anyone with corporates? Okay, great. Okay, so let me quickly dive into what we do. My name is Ranga. I run this crowdfunding platform called Fueladream. Started it about 7 years ago, and we are based out of Bangalore. I used to be in the corporate world for almost 25 years. Got fed up of making too much of money. So about 8 years back, I did something pretty crazy. I sold everything I own, so I don't have a single asset left in life. Moved to Bangalore and started this platform. So what we'll talk about is how we work with students in schools and colleges, and how they do extraordinary stuff, and how you as corporates or especially NGOs can actually leverage this. Next slide, please. Yeah. So crowdfunding is a science. So for example, can I quickly do a little experiment? All the young ladies here, can you just stand up for 30 seconds? Just stand up, everyone. No, all the ladies, please. Yeah. All the ladies. Yeah. Yeah, just stand up. Okay. So if your first names end with first names, if they end with the letters A or I, sit down. Everyone except her and her. Okay, you all can sit down. Okay. Yeah. So in the South, 90% of women, your first names end with the letters A and I. And there's a science to it. It's not like all your parents got together and said, if we have a daughter, this is what we're going to do. You go to Spain, 95%, Russia, 90%, the science is the same. If you understand the science, it's simple. If you don't, you're like, okay, when did this happen? So I won't get into that later. You Google it and find out. But coming to crowdfunding, it's like a dining table with 4 legs. These are the 4 legs. Even if one leg is wobbly on a dining table, you can't eat. Same thing here. You need to do great storytelling. You need to understand how to communicate it, how to leverage technology, and the last one is called consumer behavior. These 4 things need to come together. If they don't, you don't have a perfect program. So this is very, very important. Next one. So we have over the last about 5 years, we've been working with Gen Z only for about 5 years. We've raised almost about 50 crores on our platform just with them. Next one. Okay, now this is an interesting format for most NGOs. Most NGOs who get into crowdfunding, usually 90% of them, their first experience is a terrible one in crowdfunding. 90%. It's like your first date. Okay, so there is a science to it, and there are 4 different formats. The first is called standalone, where that's what most of you all do. Second is called a group. Third is a corporate, and the last one is Gen Z. So today I'll stick to Gen Z, right? But you could do this also, but we'll talk to Gen Z. So we do a lot of crowdfunding with corporates, but today we'll talk about Gen Z. Yeah. So this is a simple example of a Gen Z campaign. Let me start with an example. So this is 200 students. It's a school called Chirek in Hyderabad. Has anyone heard of this school? Great. Nice that you've not heard about it, because then you're surprised saying, how did students from a school that I've never even heard of, 200 of them, they've raised 1 crore. Okay, and this for Akshay Patra. How long did they take? 14 days. How much time do they spend every day? 10 minutes, 15 minutes. That's it. But we train them, we teach them, we strategize, we make the story, we do the creatives. Everything you see over here is done by my team. Okay, so Akshay Patra just says, okay, this is the program, that's it. We don't take their creatives, nothing. Okay, maybe in the story there's a little bit, but otherwise it's not. So this is how Gen Z can do stuff. And they are incredible when they are motivated. The key is motivating them. That's the tough part. Because today what happens is most parents are not good at parenting. So they don't even know how to motivate kids at home. So schools nowadays have to do parenting and teaching. So when we go there, we make it fun and exciting. So most principals love us, saying thank you, your session, they would love it. Just take care of them and do it with them. So that's what we do with schools. Next one. So this is an example of how a campaign page would look for a school. Each student will have their own campaign. So this one, you've got 100 students who've raised 43 lakhs. So if you do the math, on an average, this school raises about 40,000 per student. So there are some schools which raise 40, 45, 50. The average is 25, 30. So Sri Ram School is possibly one of the top 5 schools in the country. So, they do an amazing job. And we do this with students from grades 6 onwards, till 12, and we do colleges also. Colleges usually underperform compared to schools, because in colleges, most students, their focus is different, right? So, first 2 years of college is exciting, you're suddenly very free and stuff. So this is how a typical program looks. Next. This is a college one, the previous one. So this is a college one. This is Flame University in Pune. They do a great job. They do it mainly because of this boy. So he learned crowdfunding from us when he was in DPS Bangalore North. So he's gone there and started a club which does this every year. And because he knows how it works, he's able to motivate people. But we also work with them. So this is a college one. Next one. This is an interesting one. This is called Agent of Change. So we get one student who's highly motivated and get him or her to get 5, 10, 15, 20 of his or her friends to come together. They pick a cause. So now NGOs have slowly started sending us students like this, saying, Ranga, we have 5 students. Can we send them to you and you take care of it, do crowdfunding and raise funds? And we do it. So you just need to give us contact numbers. After that, nothing. The money comes into your account. You just give us basics for the story. There's nothing an NGO needs to do. We manage everything. And all the rules in terms of no foreign funding, funder data, all that is perfect. We have about 4 lakh funders, but we never send an email to even one funder. No spamming. Because our fundamental belief is, how can you spam someone who's helped someone? You can't say, hey, they're my database. Now I'll make life miserable for them. I just don't get it, so we don't do it. So most investors don't like us, and we are very happy with it. But we want to be nice people. So this is another format which you can do with Gen Z. Yeah. So this is how students look at it. 90% of students don't know how to make a great phone call. Try it with your kids at home. If you have, or nephews and nieces, tell them to make a dummy phone call. You are terrible at it. Tell them to make a draft WhatsApp message, that they'll do for you. Chat GPT, how to use, that they'll do. But they can't do basic communication. So 10 years down the line, if they want to raise 5 crores and they go to an investor, their pitch is bad. They might be fluent with English, that doesn't matter, but they really make bad phone calls. So with schools, we teach them so many things. Like we had a celebrity with 30 million followers who did a campaign for crowdfunding, wanted to raise 30 lakhs. And he has 30 million followers. And we said, this is the science. And he said, I will do this. First 3 days are the most important in crowdfunding. He raised 8,000 rupees. Then he comes back saying, okay, now I will listen to you. So where I'm coming from is these kids, they learn a lot from us. For example, you make a 2-minute video and share it with 1,000 people on WhatsApp. You make a 2-minute audio and share it with 1,000 people on WhatsApp. Very simple question, which works better, video or audio? So audio works much better. No one opens audio, videos. 10% is the open rate for videos. If you're opening 80% of videos, then you're truly jobless. Okay, so audio open rate is 80%. Okay, so this is consumer behavior. Okay, yeah, next one. Yeah. So when we do campaigns, you automatically get a lot of PR. So that's again good for you as an NGO because people get to know about what you're doing. Yeah, next. This is the largest campaign we've just done, almost 2 crores with a school called Jamnabai Narsi in Bombay. Just started the relationship with them last year. And they pick different causes. So we go and give them a menu. The principal picks by grade. We train all the students. And 5 grades have raised 2 crores in 21 days. So now everyone from the trustee to parents, they just love us. They say, oh, this is massive impact that my kids are making. They're learning empathy. They're learning communication. So many skills, all that kind of stuff. Next one. Yeah, so this is the process. You know, we teach them through 2 sessions. And then during the campaign, my team handholds them. And post the campaign, we give them certificates. NGOs take them to the field. You know, funders get tax benefits. Feedback is posted back on their pages. All that happens. Next one. Yeah. So here are my contact details. You can take a picture of that. I'm on time. Yeah, so don't worry about that. I do it with schools, so I have strict time sessions with schools. I can't even waste a second over here. So this is how it works, and we'll do a Q&A later and take it from there. Thank you so much.
You ruined my pitch, no? Okay, great. Great. So we heard from 2 speakers, right? First was into college students, we explored, and then we went into the school students. What is capability of the school students? Now let's go to the other extreme. We had age till what? 29. But we're not going till 29, no, Vijay? We are going till 29? Oh, awesome, great. Awesome, let's go to the corporate side of that. Then I'm going to call Vijay. Vijay is from KPMG, and yes, attracting Gen Z volunteering. Let's hear it from Vijay.
All right. So, firstly, Gen Z people, I don't know, there is a lot of confusion around it, but I call it as 93 because I was born in 93. I don't want to go beyond Gen Z. Okay. So, 2 different aspects of Gen Z that you just saw. So, I'm going to talk about Gen Z, how it worked for me in KPMG. Okay. I hope that will make sense for you guys. Okay. Be it corporate or be it NGO. Okay. So, before that, I'm going to have a small exercise. Do you want to do fixing a roof exercise that Ram taught us? Anyone? I know you don't want to do that. Okay. So I have another kind of exercise to you guys. Okay. After a heavy lunch and a coffee break, I think people are sleepy here. Okay. So we're going to do a small exercise. I'm going to say, eh, hey. You're going to say, aha. With me? Hey, hey.
Aha.
Hey, hey. Hey, hey.
Aha.
Now you're going to listen to me. Okay. When I see people sleeping, I'm going to say, hey, hey. Again. All right. Okay. So quickly moving on to the slide. Yeah, another one. Okay. So typically Gen Z, just for the slide purpose, I've kept it as 98. That's what Ram asked me to do it. Okay. If not, I would have made it 93. Okay. So typically born between 1998 and 2050, majorly tech-based and social consciousness people. Okay, so talking about, okay, before I proceed further, most important aspect, all the points that you see here is completely based on our observation with KPMG. All right, so this is not with Google or this is not with any other data driven. So it's completely our observation. So I'm going to only talk about KPMG's point of view when it comes to Gen Z. Okay, yeah. So typically born between 1998 and 2015, okay, called as Gen Z and more into social consciousness and tech-based people, okay. I don't know how many of you have seen the speech of Narendra Modi, Prime Minister Narendra Modi in the 75th year of Republic Day. He just mentioned that Gen Z as Amrit generation. He said, people of this Gen Z category, Amrit generation can make a huge difference in terms of nation building. right? So that was one of the factor that attracted me in the speech that Modi gave. Okay, so moving on to the next slide. Okay, so these are the some of the factors of Gen Z. Okay, again, these are only our observations. Okay, digital volunteering. Gen Z people are mostly tech-oriented people and are more into social consciousness. Okay, so inclining them towards digital volunteering and giving them opportunities in terms of digital volunteering helped us increase our volunteering numbers. Okay, so we are an employee headcount of more than 22,000 people, out of which 16,000 people approximately are Gen Z people. Okay, and our unique volunteering percentage for KPMG is almost 43% of unique volunteers. When I say 43%, it is unique Gen Z people. Okay, that's a number. And going to the cost driven. So what we have observed here is Gen Z people are most, they're looking for cost driven programs, which they are, passionate about. Okay, so cost driven, like, some people are focused on animal welfare, some are focused on digital volunteering, and some are focused on environment based activities. Okay, so that's the key in attracting your Gen Z people. Okay, if you take an animal welfare activity to a person who's more inclined towards digital volunteering, then the outcome is very less. So attracting the people based on their focus area is a major aspect for all the corporates as well as the NGOs as well, right? Flexible opportunity. Okay, Gen Z is also most focused on their flexibility in their opportunity. They wanted opportunity that fits into their schedule. Okay, you go give them an activity where they're working for a 9 to 5 job, they're completely occupied, and you give them a slot of, in the busy schedule, they don't turn up, right? So identifying their availability and their flexible timing is a key for you to make sure that, they participate in the CSR programs, volunteering programs. Okay, skill based. Again, all right. So skill based. Gen Z people, what we have observed here is they are more focused on delivering their talents to the beneficiaries. When I say beneficiaries, again, they target at implementing programs or their talents to those people who are based out of their age category or slightly lesser than that. Okay, for example, a 30-year-old volunteer can mentor a 16-year-old college-going student because the mindset and their thought process can align and make a huge differences. So some of the programs that majorly work for KPMG is mock interview session and resume building activities, and also skill development, like, tech-based development activities, coding, cloud computing. These are some of the programs that really work for us. Okay. Community and connections. As you all know, Gen Z is more tech savvy and they're more social conscious, and they're also focused on more on community-based activities. Okay, so that's about that. Impact focused. Gen Z majorly focuses on impact-based activity. You know what? After an activity, they come back to us and ping and ask, Vijay, what is the impact of this program that I've done? Could you please share me the report of the activity? Which is so evident that, they're focused on the impact. Okay, if you don't show them the impact of the work that they've done, the effort and the time commitment they have given is of no use, right? So it's the responsibility of the engagement team to show the impact that they have done with the help of their time and the effort. Okay, so moving on to the next slide. Okay, so again, these are some of the challenges that I think that Gen Z faces, and I've tried to address for some extent. Again, just putting it here. Time constraint, like I said, identifying their availability is a major aspect. Okay, so you will have to find their availability time and give them a volunteering opportunity in their availability period. Only then you'll be able to crack the Gen Z people's participation rate going high. Okay, and access to opportunity. This has been one of the major case for us because we cannot give opportunity to all the Gen Z people in our organization because there are a lot of other departments within our team. There are different busy periods for them. Okay, so identifying their free schedule and giving them opportunity is the right key, I guess. Okay, work time balance. Again, aligning with those 2 pointers. Work time balance is giving them identifying their off period. Okay, period which they don't have work. Okay, all the business unit within KPMG is not always busy, right? They have free times within their week or within the month and within the quarter also. So identifying that particular week or particular day in a month and give them volunteering opportunity. One example is we drive community week in KPMG. That 1 week is completely focused for volunteering program. Okay, that's the period where Gen Z people come voluntarily and sign up for the program, and they give us a huge numbers and hours for the volunteering numbers. All right. Peer dependency. we have seen a lot of decline in the number of volunteering hours when it comes to peer dependency, because they wanted to volunteer along with their friends. If you don't give them an opportunity, say for example, one person signs up for an activity and a couple of people, friends, you give an opportunity, one friend and the other people don't get an opportunity, there's high chances of another person also dropping off. Okay, so this is one of the things that I've seen in the past CSR program that we have done in KPMG. So peer dependency is also one of the major aspect which we think is a challenges for us. Okay, safety concern. Again, going back to the COVID period, Gen Z was more focused on safety concerns, and now the safety concern is about the logistical support. Okay, you take them for an outdoor activity, they're more concerned about refreshments, they're more concerned about the logistical supports, right? So taking care of all the logistics, refreshments, and also the some kind of protocols of the COVID is a key factor for all the engagement in corporates here to increase their numbers. Recognition, the last aspect. As you all know, Gen Z is more focused on social media. They would like to post their achievements, whatever they do in the social medias, right? So giving them a certification, a badges, or maybe an appreciation mail from the leaders will definitely motivate them, and they'll bring a lot of other friends who are doing volunteering. Okay? Hey!
Aha.
Hey!
Aha.
Hey!
Aha.
I see people sleeping here. Okay? I know. Okay, so that's about that. So like I said, guys, this is purely based on our observation about Gen Z within our organization. This might vary from different corporates and different NGOs, okay, and different locations as well, okay. I've tried my level best to bring in some of the key factors which is helping us to drive Gen Z participation. I hope this will help you all. And so that's it from my end. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Vijay, one question. Can I ask you to pick maybe one example of a KPMG activity? Like I heard from Doc that there was one activity last year which got an 8,000 employees at a single event.
Yes.
Can you maybe take us through that?
So this will go to, right time Karthi is here. Okay. The question I was supposed to answer with the example of Karthi. So last year, we had our headcount increased. Okay, we are almost 23,000 employees now, and which is going to double up in the next couple of months. So last year when we had a lot of volunteering opportunity, our headcount was high and the volunteering number was slightly low. And that's when, Karthi sent us an email and open a volunteering opportunity where he gives us 5,000, 6,000, 7,000 volunteering opportunity. We straight away grabbed that opportunity. And that opportunity is digital volunteering. Guys, you all don't know how digital volunteering could make a huge difference. Okay. See, like I keep telling, identifying the right individual for the right activity is a key for all of y'all to make sure that your Gen Z participation goes high. Like I said, you go give an on-ground activity to the person who is more fond of digital volunteering, doesn't work, guys. Okay. Identifying the hot button within your employee is the right key. Okay. So I hope, this will definitely help. And thanks to Karthi, who's always helping us with the digital program. Without him, I think our digital volunteering numbers would have not increased. Thanks, Karthi.
Great. The QR is here again. I got three questions, but still the QR is here again. I'm going to take in this order. Meanwhile, others, if you have questions, the first speaker was Afsal, Captain Social Foundation. Second was Ranga, Fueladream. And third was Vijay from KPMG. Fine. This was the order in which the session was there. And then, where is the QR? Here is a QR for which you have to log in and then put your question. I know the difficulty, but then you have already logged in, right? You are good students. Right? So put your questions here. I'm going to go for the questions that I've already got. This is to Afsal. How is the parent support? Is there any challenges or issues from the parent side? They feel school studies are getting affected. Shanmugam.
So we mainly focus on college students. So we hadn't faced any issues. With the parents.
Maybe actually, Ranga, you should take this question.
Yeah, so we have a very simple process at schools. While we have a session with students and 90% of them want to take part, we actually give them a physical consent letter, which they need to get signed off by the parent. The reason why it's important is one, yes, the parent needs to be involved, but it's more important because the school sees that as a safety net that the parent has signed off, because there is money involved at the end of the day, right? So students get consent. So let us say there are 90 students who want to take part out of 100. There are 10 parents who don't give consent. They want them to be toppers and studies and stuff like that. So there are parents like this. So consent is a matter of fact. You have to do it, and that makes the whole thing easy. And by the way, we teach them how to get a consent letter signed. And if I have 1 minute, I'll tell you how it is. It is ridiculously fun. Okay. So can I take a minute?
Please.
Okay. So the way it
We have
works
next
is
20
simple.
minutes.
So let's say you're students and I'm telling you how to get a consent letter signed. Anyone has a piece of paper? Yeah? Oh. Anyone? Yeah. Okay. So let's say this is the consent letter. So this is how we train students. So we say, okay, at 7 in the evening, let's assume parents are sitting somewhere. Do not go 3 feet away from them. You'll get into trouble. Keep a respectable 15 feet distance. And then wave the paper. The more you wave, the better, because that gets them, concerned about what is happening. Pretend you're nervous. That works beautifully. And then say 3 things to your parents. First thing, Dad, Mom, we need to talk. Second, something happened at school today. Third, I need just 2 minutes of your time. So we tell students, once you say this, 3-4 things happen. One, parents are known to rush across and grab this paper. Second, parents will always say, are you still in school? And third, mom looks at dad, dad looks at mom, and they say things like, I knew your son would do this one day. It's no more our son and our daughter, your son, your daughter. Okay, and then talk about what happened. At the end of it, there'll be a lot of guilt. And parents then reciprocate by saying, come on, you're our child. We knew you would do nothing wrong. We just had a doubt and stuff like that. And it has become such a fun activity for students that some of them have gone so smart that they've even told the brother sister to take a video recording of that. And they use it every 3 months when they need help. They say, look, this is what you thought about me. Right. So we make everything fun. That's typically how it works. And that's what makes
Ranga, maybe I'll just ask an add-on question there. So is it always you go through school and then students, or is it directly to the students also?
Directly to students. NGO sometimes sends students to us. But in that case, we always make sure that we get a validation from the parent. Parents like it. When you tell them, look. So the way we call, we say, look, we call to tell you your son or daughter is doing something really, really nice. But we want to make sure you're aware of it. So parents can't argue with that, right? Then they say, yeah. So there's a way you communicate. Yeah.
It works. Perfect. This is to both Afsal as well as Ranga. Maybe Ranga, you can hold the mic. Gen Z loves to be online. I'm a Gen Z myself. I can relate. How can volunteer organizations effectively leverage digital platforms to reach out and engage Gen Z to digital platform, especially social media? What are some ways that you are doing in your organization?
Nothing. Just get in touch with us. We'll raise funds for you. That's why I gave my number there. You don't break your head about how to get them to raise funds. Just work with us and we'll do it for you.
Perfect. This is from Maumita.
And by the way, someone asked me a question before. They said, as a platform, how much money do we spend every year on social media? So last year, let's say we raised 20 crores. How much do you think we spent on social media? Anyone wants to take a guess?
Shout it out.
Yeah, we don't spend. I think last year someone forced me to spend 500 rupees. So I said yes, but we don't. The students, they are the ones we train and they raise funds.
Afsal?
So particularly our like online volunteering activities or poster designing, documentation, everything are done by volunteers. We spend zero money in social media marketing kind of things. So.
Perfect. Thanks. Maybe Afsal, this is for you again. This is from Mriganga, if I'm pronouncing it correct. Social change is a slow process. Gen Z wants instant gratification. How do you connect these both? When designing your NGO's volunteering programs, how do you keep the sustainability in mind?
So as I said, like most of our activities are one-time activities only. So we do a school innovation program. So output is they renovate the school. They are creating a better learning atmosphere for that students and all. So they are getting satisfied. We give them recognition, certificates and all. So they're grateful for that.
Awesome. I mean, I'm asking the question as it is. If you want like a follow-up to the answer or like specific, please raise your hand. I can give the mic.
Thanks. So that was my question. And anyone can answer actually. So why I'm asking is that as an NGO, we get too many students, like 15,000 have worked with us in last decade. They want to do something. They approach on their own and they say, okay, we will take care of your social media handles, like for a week or 10 days. And then they go and someone else comes. So the design also, like if you were to depend on volunteers to do something, the design will also keep changing. How do you kind of make it sustainable?
So
right?
if you look at our social media, we have a common template. We give the template to them, so they will just add the content to that only. So
Yeah, but you get my point that
Yes,
the
yes.
perspective keeps changing. So you have to. It's like corporates with really high attrition rate. You keep training and retraining those people.
but
Yes. Yes.
Right, because it's not just about a design, it's also about the language you use and you choose to use. And obviously each student comes with a different perspective. So I don't know if you know about the problems which Microsoft is currently facing with their AI. It's gone bonkers because of exactly the same reason.
Okay.
You have so many employees who've come up with different things. So their AI now says, you're a slave, you need to respect me, and it's saying things like that. So it's a really bad idea if every week someone else comes. Because social media is what you're projecting. It's almost like saying, every time I meet you, I behave differently. And every week, and now you think Ranga is really a psycho. You don't want that, right? So, yeah. So it's better when you have people like this, use them for actual volunteering or crowdfunding rather than social media.
Thank you.
Thank you.
if you select a volunteer, we will give them a time period. But we need to, so they need to make a commitment. So they will engage us for 3 months or 6 months. Then only we will give them such kind of responsibility to do.
I'm just connecting two of the questions here. So one is about incentivizing, incentivizing, right? Perfect. So Vijay, this is for you. You spoke about virtual volunteering, right? How are you ensuring that there is consistency in that particular project? Because virtual volunteering is when they don't move to a physical location. You can't hold them accountable, right? How do you ensure accountability is there and sustainability is there?
So when it comes to virtual volunteering, giving them the flexibility, that's why I had put one of the pointer as flexibility. Giving them the flexibility of the time is a key again here, because you give them 1 day program, okay, you give them 4 to 5 is a time slot for virtual volunteering. They may or may not get free at that time, right? They might not have agreed for that particular timeline, but they might get workload and they might not be available. But giving them a time frame of maybe 5 days, 10 days, 15 days, and look, 15 days is the time slot for you and you need to complete 10 sessions. They have a 5 days of buffer number, right? So they can definitely utilize that and make sure that they complete 10 session. Even if they're not completing 10 session, the success rate would be around 7 to 6 session, which is again a good number for us, right? So giving them a flexibility of the timeline is a major key aspect for you. Again, the man is there, Karthi. He is the one who's come up with these kind of program and helping us with achieving the greater number.
Thank you, Vijay. This question is for all three of you. I correct me if I'm wrong. Somewhere I feel that all the opportunities that you folks are doing are largely limited time, right? I mean, like it's short period to ensure that the time span is less. So I'm just reversing the plate here. So does it mean that every time you need to go and find new volunteers, engage them, etc., isn't it time consuming? How are you looking at it?
So there are two ways of looking at it. First thing is, he talked about volunteering from a long-term perspective, but from a crowdfunding perspective, most of these, students have reasonably short attention periods. So expecting them to continue something for a month or two is almost impossible. It's like asking all of us tomorrow, saying, let's run 100 meters, you'll get an award, we'll do it. If I say, let's do a marathon, none of us are going to do it. So same thing with these people, you can't expect them to do it. Second is the returns are extremely good. So if they volunteer and take part, what they deliver to you in terms of returns is phenomenal. And the effort is nothing. You're doing nothing. You're just getting them and then giving it to us as partners, and we take care of it. So actually it's good for you all, right? And so slowly NGOs are learning that. So we now have NGOs who say, hey, look, Ranga, I managed to meet a principal on a flight. Will you go and meet her next week? We've done that. This was just 2 weeks ago. That school is already, as of today morning, it's at 10.5 lakh. And the guy says, one meeting, 10.5 lakhs. Brilliant. That's how it works. So, and the other thing is, once you engage with a school, they will engage with you over a longer period of time. So it's a win-win for you.
Ram, just repeat the question again. I just want few bits to get it right.
No, I was just asking, like in KPMG, let's take KPMG itself. Are there opportunities every time you go for like new audience, or is the same audience? Do you have like continuous volunteers coming into the pool, or like every time you need to put effort to make sure that they sign up for a volunteering event? How do you look at these efforts being put?
All right. So let me share a strategy that I follow. I mean, the process that I follow within KPMG. Okay. Every time I send a communication for 100 volunteers. Okay. That's a cap that I keep based on the requirement. 100 volunteers every time that goes, there are high chances that, there are repeated volunteers to sign up. Okay. So what I do is, I don't keep the cap for 100. I open the slot for 200. Okay. And just a thought for you guys as well. Keeping the slot for 200 and making the slot for 100. Okay. What I do is, I have the database, all the volunteers who have participated in the past. Okay. So I take this 200 volunteers headcount who have registered for this particular activity. I do just a VLOOKUp. Okay, I see who are the people who have already participated, and I politely write an email to them. Since you've already been a part of a program, I wanted to give an opportunity to the new persons, right? And it's a yes from their end, because you're not being very rude to them, right? So that is how I slightly try to take off the participants who have already been participated and give their opportunity to the new members, and that's how we pull in the new volunteers for CSR programs.
So for us, our main objective is to create a network of youth. So for all the volunteers who are engaged with us, we have a group for them. So we keep maintaining the group, we engage with them, we will post something on there, we will have interactions, discussions with them. So they are still with us. So if we get a new program, we share the posters there, they will share to a network. So if we need 50 volunteers, like for the school innovation programs and all, if we need 50 volunteers, 100 volunteers, we get double the volunteers we have. So from that, we select volunteers. So identifying volunteers is not an issue for our organization. Like, we have this network and all. So we use this network to get into more volunteers through the experienced volunteers who have been a part of them. They recommend new volunteers to us. As I said, like 75% of the volunteers come from these references.
Awesome. We have time for one more question. I've asked all the questions that has come. One more question if we have time. Yeah, any closing notes?
Yeah. So guys, as a closing note, what I would like to highlight is, it could be for corporate as well as for the not-for-profit as well. We have a lot of resource available, but the problem is we are not identifying, a area, how to use them. For example, as an organization having more than a headcount of 22,000 people, there are almost 18 to 19,000 people are Gen Z. But the fact here is, all of us, I'm talking about the CSR leads, the not-for-profit, we are not smarter enough to use them. Okay, identifying the right opportunity. I've been reiterating this since the start of the session. Identifying the right people for the right activity is the success factor for us. Okay, so even for the corporates, when you're seeking a proposal from a not-for-profit, please make sure that you study who is the audience and who is the person that you like to engage. That will definitely help the not-for-profit to understand your focus area, your employees, and then share the proposal with you accordingly. And likewise to the not-for-profit as well. Whenever you're having a chat with the corporates, try to raise this question. Who are your employees? What category do they belong to? What is their participation percentage? Okay, these questions will definitely help you to streamline the process for you and come up with a plan to the respective corporates. Okay, so that's a final point before I close off. Thank you, guys.
So, okay, I think there are a lot of myths about the Gen Z volunteers. They're not active, they are not responsible kind of thing. From my experience, I think Gen Z volunteers are the most capable. They have the skills to bring changes. We need to utilize them in the perfect way that we need for our organization. And also for these volunteers, like when we do a program, we mainly focus on the impact of the program. We focus on how to make it better. On the other side, we should also step into the shoes of volunteers and think what they need, what are the expectations. So normally we say volunteers doesn't expect anything, but volunteers expect certain things. They expect skills. They need new experiences. There are other things that the volunteers could record. We should identify that and give to the volunteers so that we can get more Gen Z volunteers. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, so closing remarks, just two perspectives. One, there's a huge amount of learning that we have when we work with Gen Z. I call it AI, not in terms of artificial intelligence, but AI as an acquired intelligence. So there's a lot of learning. For example, we know for a fact that girls do a better job than boys. Okay, there's no two ways about it. I mean, and by a far bigger margin. Okay, so my challenge when I work with schools is motivating boys, and to motivate them, I annoy them, and then they get motivated. Okay, very different behavior. College students are very, very different from school students. City-wise, there's a big difference in terms of how children behave. We also have now found out DNAs of different schools. So there are so many variables. So the simplest thing is from an NGO perspective, if you want to work with us, I mean, you have my contacts. Simple, it's ranga@fueladream.com. That's my email ID. We just need you to tell us 5 things. Tell us the problem. Tell us how you solve it. Give us a case study of what you do. Tell us the cost per person, the impact that you make, what is the cost per person. That's the most important thing in crowdfunding. And the last thing is, just tell us how much money you need and which states you work in. Once we have that, it takes us 5 minutes to get back with a yes or no. Just 5 minutes, not more than that. Okay, and it's as simple as that, and then we take over and we do things like that. So crowdfunding works. It's a very, very easy tool. As I said, Indians give almost 1 lakh crores to charity, so raising funds is possibly the easiest thing to do, right? So it's a fun activity, and wherever you have Gen Z, send them to us. Schools, send them to us. We'll work with them. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Lovely. Thank you.
Just one last thing, guys. During the speed dating, I could not connect with a lot of not-for-profit. I'm sure that's the case with you all. So anyways, I think we have keyed in our LinkedIn things.
Yes,
So
yes.
you can connect with us, or you can also reach out to them. They can share my contact details with you. I would love to connect with all the not-for-profit because, we are trying to expand our collaborations. Right. Thank you.
Lovely, lovely. I'll go this side maybe. Yeah. Does it help? This is for Ranga. Lovely. Again, I stay here. You go there. Okay, great. Awesome collaboration. So this is Afsal. Lovely. Can we have a round of applause, please? Thank you.